performance your work demands. Stop into Aldrich Tractor today for a demo or call them at 218-445-5430 or visit aldrichtractor.com for details.
This is the morning sports desk for Tuesday, November 14th. Corey, we usually are right here ready to say we're in the thick of some kind of big broadcast week or some big game coming on the airwaves today or tomorrow or something. But today we've kind of hit like our first lull for the first time in a few weeks.
We do have a big game coming up on Thursday.
We do.
But yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing. Like, I don't know what to talk about today. We don't have a game to review. We don't have a game to preview. We don't have... There's nothing urgent. It's day 2 of some winter sports practices. The rest of them get going on Monday next week. Yeah, we're just in this weird, we're in this transition phase now, which I guess is good. I'm not right. It feels weird to be thinking about winter sports.
Yeah, it feels weird, especially because it's supposed to be like 60 degrees today. But, you know,
the best.
Outside of that, yeah, girls basketball practice has started. Congratulations, I guess. But good luck, mainly.
Mainly
good luck. Congratulations. You got through practice number 1. Now here's 11 million more to go.
Correct.
For the winter sports season. You ever feel that in high school, Corey? Like, fall sports is just gone in an instant. Like, as soon as you get comfortable with it, it's already like, all right, playoffs are next week.
Yeah.
And then winter sports, and part of it's just because of where we live, it just feels like not a slog, but a slog. Like, it just feels like it takes so much of the school year. And then it's like, all right, well, spring sports are here. Well, we can't really get outside. All right, we can get outside, but it's May. And now, oh, you're comfortable? All right, well, we're going to have 50 games in a week to catch up. And you're going to be so dang tired. You're going to be like, oh, it's playoffs already. Ugh. And that's just how the school year goes.
Yeah, it's a pretty long. It's wild to. Yeah, it's what it essentially fall sports start in September. I know that practices start a little earlier than that,
but for most, like for the general spectator,
and for most teams, they don't even get out of October before the season is over. Right?
Right.
You're just done, and it's not even Halloween yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then from before Thanksgiving to, I don't know, Memorial Day, you're playing winter sports.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much.
And then it's like, well, if the snow could go away, maybe we could throw a baseball.
Maybe. Let's not get too carried away.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, we want to do we want to drive like 6 hours somewhere? Is that going to be
right?
Because that's like the only time that we can find a spot where the snowbanks are pushed away just enough.
I got a game this weekend. Got to go to Kearney, Nebraska to get it in.
Hey, you know, it's Division II baseball all the time. I went to school in Bemidji. You know, it's a nice little field up there. The high school plays on it too, but for a Division II baseball team, one year they played maybe 4 games on their home baseball field. That's how long it took the snow to go away in Bemidji.
I guess one of the perks of playing baseball at Bemidji is that you probably get to go to a lot of warm weather stuff early in the season.
And by warm weather, we mean like it's late April and we're driving to Mankato for the 5th time.
I guess that's not what I meant, but I meant like, don't they go south typically?
For Bemidji, some teams go to like Florida, some teams go to Arizona, some teams go to Texas. Bemidji goes to like southern Missouri.
Shout out the Ozarks.
Yeah, they get to go to Pittsburgh State. Not like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. No. Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Ding, 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 ding.
The Gorillas, if you will. Great mascot.
Is that what their name is?
They're the Pittsburgh State Gorillas.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. It's so out of pocket. Like, that's the thing about, like, we're the Gorillas.
Do they have a zoo there or something?
I wish. Otherwise, it's going to be a little weird if that's just they were just decided to be called.
Now, is it the animal gorilla or like guerrilla warfare gorillas?
with an O, not with like an EU. Yeah.
It is. So it's the great ape animal.
Yes.
Awesome. It's awesome. But why?
But why? You could do that. But why? Why would you do that? Yeah, it's the old thing of like what mascots are named as. So like Bemidji State, I've said this story before because it's hilarious. They're not called the Beavers because they're in northern Minnesota and there's a lot of lakes. And, like beavers like to be around water. That's not the reason why. they're called the Beavers because their president in the 40s saw the football team practicing and like, they're practicing as hard as a beaver, patting its tail on the water.
I mean, it's hilarious.
It's
a little surprising.
It's just corny, I think maybe is the biggest thing.
Because I would have assumed it would have gone back to the, the trapper days of
Right.
that part of the, and I mean, maybe that's where it originated, like.
The guy had beaver on the mind,
He sure did. He sure did.
He sure did. He was like, I just walked past this whole, like, this dam over here, and I
couldn't stop thinking about beaver.
He just couldn't.
I'm looking up Pittsburgh State right now and why they picked the Beavers, or the Gorillas, excuse me.
Uh-huh.
And all it says, it's Wikipedia, so the official mascot of Pitt State, which is how they're commonly referred to, is Gus the Gorilla.
Gus.
Yeah, it was designed in 1985. It's the only college in the nation with the gorilla as its official mascot.
Well, there you go.
But it doesn't say why. I want to know why.
I'll type in Pittsburgh, Kansas. Type in Pittsburgh, Kansas Zoo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And if they don't have a zoo, then I got some questions.
Yeah, but did they maybe they just thought they, early stages of the internet or something. They're like, we should change our name. Their mascot is, their colors are like, what are they, crimson and yellow.
Yeah.
So Iowa State, USC, those sorts of colors.
Yep.
And it's just a gorilla face in those colors. is the picture that they have there.
Yeah, it's a jungle down there. I don't know what to tell you. You know how people refer to southern Kansas as like the jungle.
That's right. Yeah, welcome to the jungle, baby.
Welcome to the jungle.
Let's see if there's zoos near Pittsburgh. There's one in Independence.
How far is that?
Probably
far enough.
Probably, I would assume it's far enough.
Yeah.
But there's also a Pittsburgh Zoo and aquarium, but I think that's probably, the one Pittsburgh we all assume.
Yeah.
Is Pittsburgh. Anyway, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Shout out the Gorillas and good luck to them this season.
Yeah, they got into the NCAA Division II football tournament. Same as my Bemidji State Beavers. They're going down to Texas Permian Basin.
What?
Yeah, I know. I don't.
What was say all those words again?
Texas Permian Basin.
Sounds private.
It's not.
What?
I don't know if it is.
Permian Basin a geographical?
I would assume because of basin, like a river basin. It's the Permian Basin. I don't know. I'm guessing. I haven't done a lot of research. Can you tell? So, Corey, a couple things to talk about Minnesota sports related.
The Permian Basin is a large sedimentary basin in the southwestern part of the United States.
There you go. Don't you just love it? So Minnesota sports related. The Vikings, Jordan Hicks apparently needed to go to the hospital for like a ankle contusion or something like that.
They called it, I have it in front of me. They call it compartment syndrome.
What's that?
Okay. He had an injury to his shin in the game on Sunday against New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
They had to take him after the game or even during the game. I don't remember. Right to the hospital to have surgery on it because there was so much pressure and swelling that was happening on his shin. I don't know exactly
could have exploded or
what
something.
Compartment syndrome is, but it was pretty bad. The injury resulted from trauma to the shin.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did he get stepped on? Did he take a helmet? I don't know how the injury happened.
Because remember, he was like in the game, and then he came out of the game, and then he came back into the game, and all of a sudden they're just like, yeah, he's just out.
I mean, I remember that, but I don't remember how the injury happened. Whatever. They call it compartment syndrome, and they had to keep him in New Orleans to have surgery on his leg.
The game was in Minneapolis.
They had to keep him in Minneapolis to get surgery on his leg. That's right.
So in all this craziness, in all the chaos, the Vikings, their only other defensive play caller was an undrafted rookie in Ivan Pace Jr., who's had a nice rookie season, but you don't want to trust in a rookie to make all your defensive play calls for the rest of the season. And especially if he gets hurt, then you're really in bad shape. So the Vikings decide to bring back old friend Anthony Barr.
Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, Anthony Barr is back. We were just talking about him. Anthony Barr as kind of an interesting history with the Vikings. There's 3 things in life that are certain, Corey: death, taxes, and Anthony Barr coming back to the Vikings. It's like the 3rd time in his career he's like kind of pseudo left and then came back.
Now, they just signed him to the practice squad, so his relevance, the real question here, and I mean,
it's probably just to like prevent them from having to cut somebody like today, I think might be the reason why they add him to the practice squad.
To add depth to the position is what the story says. They're without Hicks. He goes on a list, so
he's gonna be out for I don't know if the whole
week for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna be out for a while. If he had surgery, he's probably not.
Yeah, the story says for at least a week.
Yeah, so
who knows?
And Anthony Barr was the defensive play caller for many, many years for every year under Mike Zimmer.
That's right.
So he's a guy who is used to the headset being in his helmet. He's a guy who can read the offense as a defender and kind of call out plays and do things like that. And also, I want to say, he's like a locker room guy, but I mean, outside of Harrison Smith and Daniil Hunter, how many guys in that locker room was he there with? That was just 2 years ago.
Right.
There's not there is, but there's not like a ton of like mainstay guys who you really remember.
Also, he just got signed to the practice squad.
Right.
All of those things are true, but that guy, he's not.
There's no guarantee he's going to play at all.
He's practice squad.
Right.
There's a guarantee he's not going to play.
That's what, yeah.
Someone else is going to have to get hurt this week. You know what I mean? Like, This is like
a precaution.
This is cool that it's Anthony Barr, but this is the Vikings signing Tanner Morgan.
Yeah.
Tanner Morgan was not going to play quarterback for the Vikings.
Personally, I see it as like the Vikings signing Mitch Leidner, but
yes. Perfect. That's Anthony. I loved Anthony Barr. He was really probably my favorite defensive player on those good Zimmer defensive teams because he was like a difference maker.
His ceiling was so much higher than anybody's. It felt like, outside of maybe Daniil Hunter. Like, he was just a guy who was big. He could run all over the field, make a bunch of plays, and that's pretty much what he did.
The Daniil Anthony Barr crossover though was not long.
No,
was pretty light. Like Daniil was on the team when Barr was on the team, but like
Daniil became a full-time starter in 2017.
Yeah, and Barr was a first-round pick in 2014. So like some of those peak, what I remember about Anthony Barr was before Daniil was even there,
right? Or
relevant.
Exactly. So anyway, the Vikings get ready to play the Denver Broncos, who all of a sudden, Corey, you mentioned this yesterday, gotten kind of hot. They beat, that game was ugly yesterday against Buffalo, but they ended up beating the Bills. And now all of a sudden they're 4-5. Sean Payton's got a little bit of moxie going for him. Russell Wilson versus the Vikings in primetime. It's going to be on Sunday Night Football. So there you go. The Vikings versus Russell Wilson just always goes weird very quickly. So this one I'm sure will be no different.
So let's pose this question here. I've got about 90 seconds.
Okay.
We talked about this Vikings reunion with Anthony Barr. What other athletes exist out there that you would like to see a Minnesota reunion with?
So we're talking current.
Let's keep it current because who wouldn't like to see Kirby Puckett back playing baseball again? You know,
right?
I mean?
Exactly.
Or
yeah.
KG back, but like KG's 40, so that's not going to happen. Who's a current guy that you would like to see a reunion? And it doesn't have to just be the Vikings. Let's cross any sport.
I'm going to say the Twins, and I'm going to say Eduardo Escobar. Because who didn't love Eduardo Escobar? He was short, he was quirky, he was like really funny in the clubhouse. Like you just like all the guys loved having him around, and he was also just a good player. He was like a poor man's Luis Ariz before Luis Ariz really got there. You know what I mean? He was just that kind of plucky infielder who just kind of put bat on the ball, and everybody loved it when he did something cool. He was like very like reactive. Like I don't know what the right word is. Like he would just do a lot of things that you could see on TV and go, oh, he made a weird face after that one. Anyway, Eduardo Escobar would be kind of like my number one off the top of your head. How about you, Corey, before we let you get out of here?
Well, this is going to sound like I'm being petty, and I'm not because things worked out.
Okay.
But my answer, you said his name, is Luis Ariz. How could you not want that guy back on your team?
That's true.
The guy hits 360. You know what I mean? That would be that. I just really enjoyed him on the team because I enjoy what he brought to the table offensively. I think that stuff is really important, and he's still currently playing and still I don't want that to sound like the Twins made a mistake because it worked out in everybody's favor. I still would want him on my team.
Right.
That guy's awesome.
By the way, I would say the same thing about Stephon Diggs.
Sure.
Like, he's a guy I'd still love to have back on the team.
Great answer.
But they drafted Justin Jefferson, so who cares in the grand scheme of things?
Exactly. I gotta go.
Anyway, this has been the morning sports desk for Tuesday, November 14th. It's 7:31 on KWAD. Here's MNN News.
Minnesota means Hepburn on Brent Palm. An industry group says Minnesota